So Daniel, in this video, talk to me. Talk to me about why you've put your spouse to work. Well, what happened was, years ago, in a land far away, we started having kids. I had 2 jobs, and even then, with 2 jobs, I would tell her. Well, I told her at first, stop working and take care of our firstborn child, or I will stay home and take care of the firstborn child. So she decided to stay, and I had 2 jobs. Then my ship came in, $100,000 ship. I told her, let's do this, this, and this with the money. And she said, no, never, never, and walked away. So then the idea struck me that, well, she's got $100,000, and even though soon, about 2-3 months later, I knew that she was going to spend all of it because, well, she bought the house and they were expensive, and I said, all of this money will disappear. And I had so many plans for this money. But she refused to even listen to my plans. So I said, okay, with this much money, I will not work again. That was a choice I made. And she, at that time, I told her, sit down with me, read books with me. I will teach you English. All you have to do is read these Snow White books and you'll learn a little bit. Talk to me in English. Don't answer me in Spanish. Try it. I was successful in teaching my previous girlfriend English in this method. We read Victor Hugo's books, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, all of those short story books from the dollar store. So this spouse refused. So then I said, well, I already know that if you go to work, spouse, you will learn English. And since you don't want to do anything that I tell you with the money, then go to work then. For instance, she still gets 400, 500 in food stamps. And one time, a few years ago, I told her, buy this 1 can of peanuts, cashews, for my mother to go on her airplane ride to see the other relative. And I chased her all down the grocery store with vegetable section. And finally an old man stopped us with his spouse and he said, please buy it for him. It's for his mother. Buy it for him, because they had been listening to all of our story. And the old man's wife was laughing. So every time that I have to do anything with this spouse, I have to beg her for it. So I said, okay, you're going to be disrespectful? I'll put you to work. And, well, what's the result? She speaks English. She gets along with her co-workers. Her co-workers come to visit her. And at that time, for some reason, she wants to be strange. She wants me to be over there when the co-workers come, because it's usually to eat a dinner or something. So she comes to knock on my window, and then I say, well, all right, I'll go eat. And I go talk to, because I love people, so I go talk to the co-workers, the different ones that show up. The single ones usually. Well, they have a boyfriend or stuff like that, but Everybody's got their own strange story. So anyway, that's why I put the spouse to work, so that she would learn English, and so that she would not be such a person that doesn't plan. She still doesn't think about what to do with the money, and I tell her things like, you've seen what happened to this family. The boy graduated from high school, he went to a college, he got depressed because, well, in the United States it's very difficult. Nobody talks to you. And he's already shy because he's big. He used to be a football player. And his dad said, I love it. They're going to get him to exercise. Yes, but he just became a wall, a real big, huge guy. The dad says to me, they actually made him get fatter. They told him to eat more. And he said, my son is over 300 pounds. So at the time he didn't have a car, the boy, right? And he was waiting at the bus stop when his classmate, a girl, picks him up and says, I'll give you a ride. And so he asks the girl, so who gave you, how did you get this Mercedes? Now this girl is going to college, right? University. And she's driving around in her Mercedes. And then she says, oh, my dad bought it for me. I graduated from high school, so he bought it for me. Or I was 16 years old and he bought it for me. I don't know, something strange like that. And then the boy told us, when I graduated from high school, my parents gave me 20 bucks. So it's that culture shock. That was one family, right? Another family, that are pastors, by the way, they went back to Puerto Rico. And 3 months later they came back because they said, even though my husband and I, she was talking to the spouse and I hear her, we loved it. I don't know if they had 2 or 3 kids. They just couldn't, they didn't like the high school at all. They didn't want to go to school. They got into problems. No. So we had to come back. So that's the lifestyle. So I told the spouse, our kids are going to run into the same problems when they go to the university. I already told her, don't send kids to the dormitory. It's a trap. I was so naive and simple. An old man called me blue. You don't know anything. But now I know what blue means. It means you don't know anything. To illustrate my point, when I was 25 years old, I was working as a security guard at the reception of a condominium that had a restaurant. And the chef would come in. He had a motorcycle. He was Spanish. And, he would park his thing, and then when he would come talk to me, he would say, "Good morning, fruitcake." And I didn't know what he meant by that. I used to start thinking, fruitcake. Fruitcake. He's a chef. Maybe he's going to make a fruitcake today. I really didn't know he was trying to be a bully and insult me. All right? I didn't know. This is people that are so simple that they don't really understand what you're trying to do. Even a bully is bullying me, and I had no idea what he was talking about. In my mind, I was thinking fruitcake, and that went back to when I was 10 years old. I remember seeing in my mind a pineapple cake, which was just a cake with a pineapples on the top. The pineapples were cut like in circular. So the cake may have had, if it was a rectangular cake, it had 2, 4, 6. They looked like donuts, but they were pineapples. 2, 4, 6, right? And then, that's what I'm thinking about my fruit cake. Or another morning he would call me cupcake. I said, cupcake? Cupcake, that's the one that I have. If you were ever a kid, you know how you bit into it and then you had to spit out the paper? I mean, this is what would come into my mind. I didn't know this guy was insulting me. I knew something was strange about him, but I didn't know. Alright, so that's when I was simple. And then I had a coworker. He was an older guy, but apparently he had some sort of problem. He wouldn't tell us what it was, but he would come over and he would only say, Cristo rompe cadenas. Christ breaks the chains. And then he would walk away. And then I would just stay there and think about it. And then, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking that he was wrong. It wasn't Christ that broke the chains. It was Samson. That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking that this guy is mistaken. It's not Christ that breaks the chains. It's Samson. Samson is the strong guy in the Bible. This is called, in psychology, it's called concrete operational thinking, which means that when people use a way of speaking, such as saying things like "you're pulling my leg," that means you're making a joke, or you're trying to fool me, or something. I don't know. You're pulling my leg. No one's ever used it on me, but I've heard it. Wait, one guy over here, when I was working with the construction workers, when I told them that there were cars that could drive on French fry oil or used cooking oil, he said, "You're pulling my leg?" And I said, no, and we spoke in Spanish, but I said, no, these things exist. You buy a $3,000 thing, and for $3,000 they set it up for you. They put the tank in the back of your pickup and so on. And he had never heard of it. So he was 25 years old, but he thought I was joking with him, and I wasn't. I was telling him that these they call them grease cars. They exist. Go to greasecar.com. You'll see it. So that's when I was naive or simple and didn't understand what people meant. Back to Christ breaks the chains. It means that if you talk to Christ and you learn about being a Christian, or you read the Bible, your brain will actually grow, and things that you didn't understand, you will understand. For instance, the chains don't have to be chains that you're chained up right here, right now, and you're trying to break them. No, the chains could be you eat too much, and gluttony, right? You're fat, you eat too much, you don't exercise, you don't take care of your body, you smoke cigarettes, or you drink alcohol, or you're an alcoholic, or some other negative trait that your body has. You're double-minded. I finally learned what that means. That means that you say yes, you'll do it, then you say no, you won't do it. A person that talks too much. A person that talks too much might have that character flaw, I think it is. Now, I don't monopolize the conversation. When there are other people here, I wait until everybody goes around at least once before I jump in, unless the question is directly for me. And from every conversation, like if the lady mentioned a singer, well, I write that stuff down and I said, maybe there's some message for me if I Google this singer. And so we Google it, or I Google it on my own, or actually that time with her, and I showed, is this the one? And then she said yes. Garth Brooks, apparently he married somebody. Or of course, right? And the lady that he was singing with, she knew it as Garth Brooks' wife with another name. And then we compared, oh yes, it's the same lady that, oh, so they must have met singing and then they married, all right, something like that. All right, so this video I talked to you about how I used to be so simple-minded that I didn't understand when people were making fun of me. So Christ can break your bad habits or change you, make you into a new type of person, an achiever, a doer, a person that succeeds, a successful human. All right? And because I've given this spouse so much tough love, right? Other relatives, of course, they're more direct to me. They say, you're a pimp. And so if you write that as a comment, I understand. It's all the way you look at things. Because at the park, for instance, the spouse says to the son, don't climb that tree. And I'm thinking, why, that branch is only 6 feet high. Not even 6 feet high, 5 feet, because I could actually hug the boy, and I'm 5 feet 10, so I could grab my arms and hug the boy while he's hanging onto the branch. I mean, he's not really climbing a very tall tree. Today she told him, don't sit on the floor because those pants are, what are those pants for? Those are new pants. And I'm thinking, I don't say anything because this spouse, when I go against her speech, her rules, her orders, and things like that, she told me why she didn't want to spar with me. She says, I'm angry. And I said, well, you're angry? What do I have to do with it? I'm angry at you. And she's angry at me because I asked until I got them to go to the park. Because she didn't want to go. So I asked the kids. And the first one said, the older one said, I'll go if the mother goes. And then I asked the younger one, and then he said, I'll go if the mother goes. And they had been watching hour after hour of TV. Even if they're learning something. Nitrogen, liquid nitrogen, apparently that stuff makes it fog. You can make fog out of that. Alright. Enjoy your life. Be better than I am. Learn something from every movie that you watch. Learn one thing or learn 10 things. You know, from every book, learn one thing or learn 10. From every person, learn one thing or learn 2 or 10 things. Enjoy your life. Bye.